And good afternoon, class of 2017. One of the most prestigious honors any university can bestow is an honorary degree, a degree which is conferred honoris causa, or for the sake of honor. Through this public action, Rutgers acknowledges individuals whose exceptional achievements support the ideals of this university and serve as an example for our students, our alumni, and society. It gives me great pleasure to introduce an extraordinary individual who will receive an honorary degree at this ceremony. A detailed accounting of her accomplishments can be found in your commencement program. I will highlight some of them. Dr. Carla Hayden, a highly respected advocate for equal access to knowledge, is known across the nation and indeed across the world for the efficacy of her work. It gives me great pleasure to invite Dr. Hayden to join me at the podium to receive an honorary degree, Doctors of Letters degree from Rutgers University-Camden. Oh yeah, you gotta be surrounded. As a passionate advocate for a citizenry empowered by information, your name is synonymous with access to knowledge on an open and equitable basis for all Americans. Your role as our nation's 14th Librarian of Congress has inspired librarians and other curators of knowledge to re-energize their commitment to learning as a public good and as one of our civic callings, our highest civic calling. Your own words define the role of libraries in the information era. You've said, and I quote, "Libraries are a cornerstone of democracy, where information is free and equally available to everyone. People tend to take that for granted, and they don't realize what is at stake when that is put at risk." You selected the theme, Equity of Access, to define your presidency of the American Library Association, and that idea illuminates the entirety of your career. After earning your graduate degrees from the University of Chicago, you served on the faculty of the University of Pittsburgh School of Library and Information Science. You served as the first Deputy Commissioner and Chief Librarian of Chicago Public Library, and then became the Chief Executive Officer of that wonderful institution where I met you, Enoch Pratt Free Library in Baltimore, where you revitalized the library as the heart of the Baltimore community. For these successes and many, many others, you became the first African American to receive the coveted Librarian of the Year award from Library Journal in 1995. In February 2016, United States President Barack Obama nominated you to serve as our Librarian of Congress, a wise choice. After the nomination, more than 140 library, publishing, educational, and academic organizations signed a letter in your support. In July 2016, you were confirmed as Librarian of Congress by the United States Senate. You are the first woman and the first African American to lead the world's largest library. But even more importantly, your life's work raises up the spirits of everyone you touch. Your compassionate efforts to leverage libraries as centers for community and personal growth have nurtured and expanded the imaginations of citizens young and old. In 2003, Ms. Magazine named you Woman of the Year, and Fortune Magazine listed you among the world's 50 greatest leaders. You are a true role model for positive change. Now, therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and Trustees of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, I am pleased to confer upon you honoris causa, the degree of Doctor of Letters, with all the rights, responsibilities, privileges, and immunities appertaining thereunto, here and elsewhere.
Thank you.
All right.
I must tell you, as all those wonderful things were being said, all I could think of was, why couldn't my mother be here to hear this? You can be sure I'm taking her a program because she never tires on hearing it. So to Chancellor Haddon, the Board of Trustees, Mr. President, and you have a Mr. President right here, faculty and staff, thank you for the honor of spending this day with all of you. And of course, congratulations to the Rutgers University Camden class of 2017. Go Raptors. Now, I have to tell you, I almost didn't make it up on this stage because I was so entranced and excited about your caps. I was also jealous because I heard that you had a cap decorating party with champagne. Caps off to you for the hard work and perseverance that brought you here. And I have to tell you, I had to write down some of the caps. One, the best is yet to come. Raise your hand, best is yet to come. There we go. Thank you, Mom and Dad. That's you. Difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. And one that really touched me. This one, it took me 11 years, 2 military installments, but I did it. Now, I mentioned my mother. To the parents, the grandparents, the uncles, the aunties, the godparents, the brothers, the sisters, the families, and the friends that got you here, this is your day as well. And I won't be long because as we were coming in, one family member said, "Let's get this party started." Because years ago, I know it probably was hard for you to imagine this day would come. And after rigorous classes, countless hours, internships, and maybe you held down 1, 2, or 3 jobs, you made it, and you worked hard to reach this day. You're part of a long line of Rutgers Camden graduates. Some are here today, including your mayor, Mayor Red, and Mayor, there she is, in the audience and even watching online. And I was really moved by the community spirit of Camden. It's truly an honor to be receiving an honorary degree from a university, a campus that values civic engagement, supports students from various backgrounds, and allows them to concentrate on such fields as childhood and digital studies, a university that provides a safe space, and a university celebrating diversity and making history. And I do know a little bit about history. Last year, it was an honor to be nominated by President Obama and to be confirmed by the United States Senate. As the first woman, it really meant a lot. But as the first African American, I was truly humbled. It was especially moving because, as you probably know, African Americans were once punished with lashes and even worse for learning to read. And as a descendant of people who were denied the right to read, to now have the opportunity to serve as the head of our national symbol of knowledge, is a historic moment. Frederick Douglass said, "Once you learn to read, you'll be forever free." And now everyone has the opportunity to be empowered by literacy. But there's also a need, and we've seen it very recently, to also be information literate. As we know, there's a tremendous amount of information today. Some people call it a fire hose of data. We live in a world where information, as you know, is often measured in 140 characters on Twitter and how many likes on Facebook. So in this age, you were consumed by information, and you've learned to use facts in many ways. Now, I hate to tell you, though, that much of what you've devoured will be possibly useless in a number of years, and in some fields, months. It's okay. However, what you should remember, as your student speaker said, Ms. Gordon, and please give her another hand. Your degree is your passport to opportunity. It's your ticket to ride. It's your place and your ticket to be at the table. It says that you've invested in your future, and I can assure you that the sweat and the tears will pay you back tenfold. And despite the fatigue and the hard work and reality of your journey to get here today, some hard days may be ahead, but you've already persevered and proven that you can face challenges with determination and grit. You're closing this chapter, and there's still more to be written in your book of life. You heard I'm a librarian, so I have to say that. However, even though you probably are having a plan for your professional careers, just know that there might be some opportunities and things you can't imagine. So, in the spirit of full disclosure, I'm going to stand here as the 14th Librarian of Congress and tell you I'm an accidental librarian. After a few bumps in the road, I finally graduated, undergrad. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I didn't have any work experience, but I had to work. So in between job interviews, where they politely told me, you don't have any experience, I would go to the public library because I loved it. And while I was there waiting for the next job interview, one of my fellow graduates came in and said, "Hey, Carla, you here for the library jobs? They're hiring anybody with any kind of degree." Went upstairs. I love libraries, love children. And then they put me on the south side of Chicago with a young lady who was in library school. I didn't even know that there was this thing as library school. And she was on the floor giving story time to children with autism. And I thought, this is a place for me. So change will come, and I hope that you will know that what you need to know now is that you've made it here today, and that discovery and the skills you've learned will help you. Here at Rutgers-Camden, you were students with a mission. You had definite goals and objectives, and you had faculty and professors who helped you. So remember that mission, but also be open to opportunities. And as you're striving, take time, if you can, to help others in your family or your community, because I'm sure there's not one graduate here who did not have a door opened, a way made, or a helpful hand given along the way. So now you can make your own history, and you can really exemplify what James Baldwin said. History is not a procession of illustrious people. It's about what happens to people. Millions of anonymous people is what history is about. This is your time, make your own history. But most importantly, I urge you to take time to celebrate today, but continue to take time for the people who are with you today, and in memory of those who are not. Take time for yourself, your family, and your circle of friends. They're your support group. This will make your journey more meaningful and rewarding because these are the people who made it possible for you to imagine a better future. And Albert Einstein said something, logic will get you from A to Z, but imagination will get you everywhere. So have your imagination take flight, get the party started. Congratulations, class of 2017. Good luck and good speed.